Part 193. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1921. Although Feng Qingxiu has a wealth of knowledge, her words are very simple. At first glance, they sound like ordinary people speaking, unlike some people who use colorful words and sentences in their speeches. The old boss leaned forward and listened very carefully. Just listen to her say again, with talents, we can invent more advanced agricultural machinery. Perhaps one day we can invent an agricultural harvester that integrates direct harvesting, threshing, and drying. The saved labor can be used in other aspects of the country with talents. We can cultivate high-quality grain varieties, increase grain production, and increase grain ration standards to solve the problem of food and clothing for urban and rural residents. This is already the case in agriculture, and the impact of knowledge can be seen even more in medicine. Importance. After hearing her description, many people present looked longingly. Harvesting, threshing, and drying integrated harvester? Some old revolutionaries couldn't help but ask, is there really such a harvester? If it does exist, it will greatly improve agricultural production. Feng Qingxiu smiled slightly. As long as science and technology can keep up, it will be realized one day. It makes sense, so science and technology must be developed. Science is the primary productive force. This is absolutely true. Ye Zhenjun's old boss agreed with Feng Qingxiu's view. You just mentioned medicine. What did you say? Let's talk about it. Feng Qingxiu glanced at Lu Zhang, and seeing Lu Zhang nodding towards her, she said calmly, I just have a little knowledge, please don't laugh at me. I feel that knowledge is used in all aspects to achieve the same goal, whether it is medical machinery, the invention of drugs, surgical operations, patient care, etc., each requires sufficient medical knowledge and experience. Without schooling and medical knowledge, everything is in vain. Experience can be gained through internships. Accumulation, but knowledge cannot come out of thin air. Knowledge is the foundation when a tall building rises from the ground. It is difficult to build a tall building if the foundation is unstable. Therefore, it is imperative to resume the college entrance examination. After hearing her honest words, most of the people participating in the meeting were thoughtful and nodded secretly. When the old boss once again proposed to restore the college entrance examination system, more than half of the votes were in favor. Although the college entrance examination date has not been decided in the end, it will be determined after the admission meetings of major colleges and universities are held. However, the restoration of the college entrance examination system is already a certainty. Feng Qingxiu immediately sent a telegram to her hometown to inform students who were reviewing and preparing to take the college entrance examination. Let's study hard and try to get on the list. This shows the difference in levels. People in this circle are like cats that smell something. They start to collect information and let the younger ones in the family start to review their homework and prepare. The next step will only be known after the date of the college entrance examination is set. When the National College Admissions Conference was held, Feng Qingxiu was attending the 11th Congress. She and Lu Zhang were a rare couple attending the meeting together. The man was still handsome and tall, and the woman was still dignified and bright. This caused many old comrades to joke about the couple's advancement and retreat together, especially Ye Zhenjun, who had known them for many years. After the meeting, let's go back together. No problem. Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu used the car when they came here, and of course they would use the car when they returned. The old boss said strangely, don't you have a car? Let me give you my car later. Feng Qingxiu chuckled, aren't we going the same way as uncle yet? We will save some gas money for the country. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1922. At the end of the conference, the college admissions meeting was still in progress. Many people in the education field attended the meeting, which would last for more than a month. My old boss also made several trips in person. Lu Zhang holds an important position and is also very busy because a new organization has been established. He is one of the staff and has work arrangements. In comparison, Feng Qingxiu was relaxed. After the meeting, Ye Zhenjun and Lu Zhang could not leave for the time being, so she decided to take the bus back alone. There were also people taking the bus back to the compound, but she felt that she didn't know them well and was too embarrassed to take the bus. Besides, she had enough time and it was rare to come to the city center, so she decided to take a walk and bring something back. First, I went to find Chen Swiniang, and on the way I found a place to put 2 large bags of fruit in the space. After Chen Swiniang left a message at her home, she never had time to look for Chen Swiniang. Instead, Chen Swiniang came every now and then to bring something for her children, and she would definitely send a copy back to her hometown. Therefore, when Chen Swiniang saw her, she exclaimed, "You're such a busy person, how can you have time to spend time on lowly things?" Feng Qingxiu snorted, handed the fruit to her, and said politely, "The capital is the political center of a country. In the old days, it was the emperor's feet. How dare you say it is a humble place?" Chen Swiniang laughed and let her in. "This summer is hotter than in previous years. I made a few skirts. Come on, come on. I'll give you one, and give Fu Bao another one." Feng Qingxiu looked at the skirts she took out. They were all solid color skirts. Some were dresses, some were skirts, some were made of cotton, some were chemical fiber, and some were silk. Not to mention, the styles were all very simple and could be worn for decades. Neither is outdated. "Where did you get so much cloth?" Feng Qingxiu picked up a pleated skirt and drew it on herself. "This is a pure green silk material, and it is as long as your feet. It is difficult for ordinary people to wear it well. Some are processed fabrics, and some are high-priced fabrics. I have nothing to do, so I just make a few good-looking clothes. I have enough wear of the popular black, gray and blue." Chen Swiniang pointed to the green pleated skirt. "This skirt suits you very well. I also have a half-sleeved white shirt that I haven't worn yet. I'll give it to you so you can try it on." Zheng Jinrui was not at home, and they were the only ones in the house. She took it as a matter of course. Feng Qingxiu was not very confident. "Will it look good if I wear it?" "It must look good." Chen Swiniang handed her the shirt. "Such a dress can only be held up by someone with tall legs, big breasts, fat hips, and white skin. Your figure can only be so good." Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, "I'm not tall, I was just over 1.6 meters tall. As long as your legs are long, and you have to have breasts and buttocks." Chen Swiniang began to take off the summer military uniform she was currently wearing. Unable to resist her urging, Feng Qingxiu changed into white clothes and a green skirt. Chen Swiniang looked at it for a moment, then tied it around her waist with a French brand name black belt given to her by Feng Qingxiu. She tucked the hem of her white shirt into her skirt and tied the high skirt waist under the belt, making her breasts appear fuller and her waist slender. The skin is like porcelain, so white that it reflects light, like a blooming peony, stunningly beautiful. "It's so beautiful, it's tailor-made for you," Chen Swiniang exclaimed. Feng Qingxiu looked at the full-length mirror and was very satisfied. "Sister Xuanyang, with your skills, Fu Bao will definitely be willing to become your teacher. She loves these things now and can already use the sewing machine very skillfully. This year she and I made a dress ourselves." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1923. Beauty is beautiful, but it cannot be worn to show off to the public. Feng Qingxiu regretfully took off her clothes and put on her original clothes, instantly losing her look. "Why aren't you wearing it? This dress looks so good on you. Look at me." I'm wearing a skirt. I almost looked at old Zheng. Although Chen Swiniang has been reading for half 100 years, her skin is fair and moist. Her charm is still there, and the wrinkles at the corners of her eyes only add to her elegance without diminishing her beauty. The white shirt paired with the sapphire blue skirt makes her look even more dignified. Feng Qingxiu sighed, I'm in the military compound, so I have to pay attention to the impact on my sister. Chen Swiniang touched her smooth face and said with a smile, it doesn't matter. Just wear it for your Lujiang to see when you get home. We don't have to wear it for outsiders to see. I believe Lujiang particularly agrees with what I am doing now. How can you be such a sister? What you say is not serious. Feng Qingxiu slapped her hand away. Chen Swiniang smiled and folded a light blue silk round neck sleeveless dress and put it together with the folded white shirt and green skirt. This blue skirt is fresh in color and very suitable for Fu Bao's age. You give it to her. There is a girl here, she is as young as a flower, and she is not as strict as before. Thank you for not dressing up properly. Feng Qingxiu deeply believed that it was a woman's nature to love beauty. Even in this era when beauty was suppressed, there were still many women pursuing beauty, but they just didn't dare to be too obvious. Walking on the street, you can already see lesbians wearing skirts, at least 2 out of 10. It is not the girl dress that was popular in the past 2 years, but a very simple skirt or dress. The latter is a bit like the braggy that was popular in the 1950s and 1960s, usually with small florals, although it is not like the red skirt or yellow skirt in the early 1980s. That's all the rage on the streets, but most women are showing off their beautiful looks and temperament. If you love beauty like Fu Bao, you will wear a spliced dress that you made yourself. Fu Bao's needlework is better than Feng Qingxiu's. She knows how to use a sewing machine and embroidery. She learned it from the old ladies in her hometown. Her dress is made from old clothes. The sleeves are removed from the old white shirt, and the collar is changed. The waist is then spliced together with the red floral skirt. The waist is pleated. It looks particularly beautiful on her body. The red headband on her head matches the hem of the skirt. Feng Qingxiu never taught her how to make clothes, but she just had talent. The only green color on her body is the jade bracelet on her wrist that she loves to the core. She puts it on after school every day and takes it off before going to school to avoid accidents and gossip. Seeing such a beautiful daughter who knew how to dress up, the first thing Feng Qingxiu did when she got home was to put on the clothes given to her by Chen Swiniang. Lu Erxian was sweating profusely and sharing the fruit she brought back with his brothers. When he saw her walking out of the room, he couldn't help but exclaimed, "Mom, you are so beautiful. My dad is so lucky." Yan, Dun Dun, and Zhuang unanimously expressed their agreement, not forgetting to chew the apple when they agreed. Fu Bao ran to his mother and raised his face. Because Feng Qingxiu was taller than her and was now wearing wedge-heeled leather shoes, he saw that a button on her shirt collar was loosened instead of tightly buttoned like other people's. The jade neck is long and slender. Fu Bao learned a trick and said, "Mom, your neck is a bit empty. It might look better if you wear some green jade jewelry." Feng Qingxiu touched her neck and said, "Your suggestion is very good. I'll go check it out." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1924. Returning to the bedroom, Feng Qingxiu took out a jewelry box from the space, dug out a set of jade jewelry made of pure green glass, picked out the pendant, and found a platinum chain from her previous life to hang around her neck. It was exchanged for grain from Aunt Sue's friend. The pendant is a platinum base set with an oval pigeon egg from the Republic of China. The base is a bit old, but it does not affect the quality of the jadeite. The egg noodles are very old and have a fine and tight texture. The Laocoon glass varieties are green and evenly green. The waterhead is very rich and crystal clear. Although the polishing technology is not as good as that of later generations and there are some hairs, it still shines like a small light bulb and is almost flawless. as if all the spiritual energy between heaven and earth converged on this small egg surface. Fu Bao saw it and held his face in his hands. Sure enough, it's the greatest simplicity. Graceful and luxurious, it's just the right amount of beauty. What do you mean? Does it mean simple and beautiful? Lu Erxiang didn't wait for his sister's answer. He cut open the big watermelon on the coffee table, brushed it a few times, and cut it into small crescent moons. He picked up a piece and clicked it. After a few bites, he ate it all. His eyes were as bright as light bulbs. Mom, where did you buy the watermelon? It's so sweet. I bought it from the Northwest, but Feng Qingxiu couldn't say this, so she said smoothly, I bought it outside. It was a rare opportunity for her to bring back a lot of fruit from the space, including 2 sacks of watermelon, a basket of apples, and a bag of peaches. In the end, she did not take the bus. She came back by bicycle. Over the years, she almost lost the Phoenix bicycle in the space. Forget it, you can claim to the outside world that you bought a bicycle and use it for commuting to and from get off work in the future, and no one will check it anyway. Lu Erxiang hummed, it's so sweet, sweet, and tangy. Mom, you can buy some more next time. Summer wouldn't be called summer without eating watermelon. There's a chance. Feng Qingxiu didn't dare to guarantee it, so she turned to Yayan and said, after you finish eating, take your brother and give 2 to your grandma, 2 to Grandma Wang's house, and pack some apples and peaches. We can't eat them alone. Although there are mountains of melons and fruits in the space, there are 6 or 7 watermelons in one sack, so there is no way to send more. Aren't you going to give it to Grandpa Zhou, Grandpa Su, and Grandpa Lu? Lu Erxiang asked. They are all having a meeting in the Great Hall. Your grandfather Zhou is not at home, and there is no one from Grandpa Lu's family. Although Grandpa Su's family has family members, Shengli is not here. The others are not familiar with us, so there is no need to send them away. It is necessary to distinguish the distance and distance. Yayan said oh, and after gnawing a piece of watermelon, washed his hands and face. He went to the attached side room to find 2 bamboo baskets and hung them on the left and right sides of the back seat of the bicycle. On one side, he placed 2 large watermelons and 1 apple and 4 peaches, very balanced. My aunt bought her bicycle at the right time, so that she doesn't have to be tired. Lu Erxiang threw the melon rind on the table and ran outside. The watermelon juice on his hands casually rubbed it on his dusty white sweatshirt. Our bicycle? It's so new. I want to learn. You can learn after we deliver the fruits, Yayan said seriously. He was afraid that Erxiang would drop the melon when he learned to drive now. Lu Erxiang geared up, then let me push you away. Yayan reluctantly gave it to him, but held on from behind to prevent Lu Erxiang from lacking strength and slipping. Just the 2 of them went there, and no one else got up. They were all enjoying the coolness under the electric fan. No one wanted to go out. Although the sun in the evening was no longer very poisonous, the heat on the ground had not dissipated, and it was still like being in a steamer. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1925. Watermelon is cold in nature, so Feng Qingxiu only allowed her daughter and youngest son to eat 1 piece. When she saw that Dun Dun had eaten 2 pieces, she stopped him and turned around to call Mrs. Zhang and the orderly to come over and eat the other half. The watermelons in the Northwest are very big, but this one is quite small, weighing only 7 or 8 pounds. I will give 1 to the 2 guards who are staying at home later, Feng Qingxiu explained. The watermelon is indeed very sweet, and Mrs. Zhang and the orderly both praised it. The remaining melon rind can't be wasted. I peeled it off and made a stir-fried watermelon rind. It's very delicious. After listening to Mrs. Zhang's words, Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, okay, you can do it. The weather is hot, so you have to eat some light and refreshing meals to maintain your health. Lu Zhang and I are not at home during this period. What are they doing? Food. Didn't you eat anything bad? Sister-in-law Zhang said hurriedly, most of the time, Comrade Guo Kui from Chief Yes house calls us to eat. Sometimes Comrade Guo Kui brings dishes to cook at our house. The servicemen and I don't cook too many times. Most of the time we just cook. Breakfast is similar to what you usually eat at home. There is very little food with rich red sauce, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Feng Qingxiu nodded, that's good, don't indulge them. Mom, I'm very obedient. Zhuang couldn't help but say, the disobedient one is the fourth brother. He always wants to eat meat. The day before yesterday, he went to grandma's house to eat old goose stewed in an iron pot. The eldest grandma is Guo Yan from Wang Xinchen's family. Feng Qingxiu asked, where did the old goose come from? I know this, Fu Bao said, it was a goose that my aunt's family sent to me. I had raised it for 3 or 4 years. Grandma asked the chef to stew it all day. It happened that there was no school that day. Erxiang stayed there all day, and Grandma came to invite us to eat and gave each of us a hard-boiled goose egg. We all felt embarrassed. Sister-in-law Zhang said with a smile, the two bears are lively and active. There is nothing wrong with wanting to eat meat. Even in the military camp, which soldier doesn't want to eat meat every day? It's just that the conditions don't allow it. Comrade Qingxiu, don't be too old. It's about him. This may be one of the reasons. As soon as Xiong was mentioned, Xiong rushed in from the outside. The sweat on his face was like a broken pearl. He pulled up the front of his sweatshirt and wiped his face. Mom, come with me quickly. Brother Ye is broken. The woman stopped me. Feng Qingxiu stood up suddenly, who stopped him? That bad woman who doesn't want Ye Yan, damn it, they knew from Ye Yan very early that Ye Yan's mother divorced his father and didn't want him anymore. Ye Yan went to find her, and she even scolded Ye Yan. The child's idea is very simple, a mother who doesn't want children must be a bad woman. Feng Qingxiu was worried about Ye Yan and walked out. Xiong, lead the way. Where are they? I was learning to ride a bicycle when a bad woman rushed over and my bicycle almost hit her. Lu Erxian led the way while chattering. When she arrived in front of Brother Ye, she told him that she was Brother Ye's mother. She has been thinking about Brother Ye so much that her heart ached, and she finally couldn't help but come to him. Fart, Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but curse. If you really miss Ye Yan, why have you ignored Ye Yan all these years? Tang Xian, Ye Xiongqian's ex-wife, is an art soldier. Over the years, she has performed with the troop to show condolences. It's not like she has never been to the army where her home is, but has she ever come to visit Ye Yan? No, not even once. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1926. Not only that, after Tang Xian divorced Ye Xiangqian, in order to show her determination to make a clean break with Ye Xiangqian, she remarried less than half a year later. She married a relatively powerful cotter at the time and gave birth to a daughter. Because Ye Yan lived in his own home and was equivalent to half a son, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu investigated clearly early on. She has forgotten the name of Tang Xian's remarried husband. She doesn't know whether it is Li Chaoying or Li Kaomei, which means catching up with Britain and the United States. When he gained power, he often persecuted old revolutionaries and intellectuals. Last year, he smashed the conspiracy of the Four Group. This year the conference even announced the complete end of the era of four people in power. Such people must be in bad luck. There is no other reason. Most of the old revolutionaries who were bullied and tortured by him who did not die have now been restored to their posts, and a few are also being rehabilitated. Restoration of work is just around the corner. Kui Xiaoyuan saves people when he is in power, but Li Chaoying and Li Kaomei are villains who become rampant when they get their way, which is different in nature. So now Kui Xiaoyuan is one of the people who participated in the Congress and one of the committee members of the new organization. His reputation is better than before, while Tang Xian's husband is like a rat crossing the street. If Tang Xian came to Yayan for no purpose at this time, even Feng Qingxiu would not believe it. As his old boss's job resumed, Ye Zhenjun became popular. Many times, people with the same views or in the same faction suffer both losses and prosperity. However, Ye Zhenjun has unswervingly supported his old boss from the beginning to the end, and was affected by it. He was decentralized for a period of time. It can be said that he has shared the joys and sorrows. He is the old boss. The most trusted old subordinate. It can be seen from the fact that the old boss was talking next to Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu when they were about to get in the car. Thinking of this, Feng Qingxiu, who buttoned up the collar of her shirt, quickened her pace, wishing she could put on her wings and fly to Yayan. However, Lu Erxian was learning to ride a bicycle on the training ground in the family area, which was quite far away. Lu Erxian was running in front, not forgetting to turn around and ask Dun Dun and Zhuang Zhuang to help out. Although Fu Bao is a girl, with a gentle appearance, she is a little pepper in her heart. She has the same origin as her mother. She steps on her plastic sandals and follows closely behind her mother. Feng Qingxiu was walking halfway when she suddenly said to Dun Dun, "Go and tell Grandma yet. The two bears have to lead the way. Zhuang Zhuang can't run fast, so Dun Dun is the best candidate." "I know, Mom." Dun Dun turned around and ran to Ye's house. At this time, Feng Qingxiu had already seen Yayan. A female soldier wearing a summer military uniform was standing in front of him, with her back to her. Parked next to her was her own Phoenix bicycle, shining with its unique luster in the setting sun. Yayan's face turned red. "I told you I don't know you, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yayan, how can you be so rude? I am your mother, is this your attitude towards your elders?" Tang Xian's voice was a bit sharp, but she soon realized that her attitude was wrong, and she immediately softened her voice and changed her tone. She had to be gentle and said, "Yan Yan, I just miss you, so I came to you to do my best as a mother. I have no other intentions." Feng Qingxiu rushed over and pulled Yayan behind her, glaring at Tang Xian fiercely like an old hen protecting her chicks. A closer look shows that Tang Xian looks very dignified. Also, there are no female soldiers in the art troupe who are ugly. Although she is in her 40s, with crow's feet at the corners of her eyes and slightly droopy corners of her mouth, Tang Xian is still very charming, with a round face, thick eyebrows, and big eyes. It is a dignified appearance that is very popular now and is in line with everyone's aesthetics. It's Monday, early to ask for votes with 8 chapters, Fancy Ball. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1927. Who are you? What do you want to do? Looking at Feng Qingxiu, who appeared in front of her with fashionable clothes and increasingly beautiful appearance, when Tang Xian blurted out, a trace of evil flashed in her eyes with bags under her eyes. Feng Qingxiu sneered, "I was just about to ask you why you were stopping my child." Tang Xian was furious, "Yayan is my son, how could he be your child? How could you talk such nonsense? My child eats and drinks at my house. Even the sweatshirt he is wearing was bought by me. He is not my child. I will allow him to live in my house? Follow us all over the world? On the contrary, it is you who stops him for no reason. My child, what do you want to do? I tell you, this is Zishan courtyard, not a place for you to run wild. I am his biological mother, his biological son," Tang Xian said loudly, holding her head high and chest out, "not weak at all, he is a piece of flesh that fell from my body. You have no right to stop me from getting to know him." Ye Yan stretched out his head from behind Feng Qingxiu and said eloquently, "You are not my mother, Aunt Lu is. Cook for him, make him clothes, check his homework, praise him when he needs to, teach him when he needs to be taught, do what he needs to do, and don't treat himself as an outsider. This is the real mother." In his mind, he secretly called Mom several times. Noticing Ye Yan's admiring eyes towards her, Feng Qingxiu was shocked in her heart. Then she put her arms around his shoulders and said loudly with a smile, "Yes, we have 6 children, and he is one of them, so naturally he is too. My son." Her godson is also a son, and she has long regarded Ye Yan as her own child. "Well, Mom, my mom," Ye Yan stretched out his arms to hug Feng Qingxiu's waist and said in a loud voice, "I am only a mother, others are fake and imposters." Tang Xian said angrily, "Ye Yan, do you dare to deny your biological mother?" At this time, Grandma Ye Guokui rushed over, raised a pair of grey eyebrows, and said aggressively, "Xiaoxiu is Yanyan's biological mother. You are going back to where you came from, don't be an eyesore in front of our family." To her, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu are not biological sons and daughter-in-law, but they are better than biological sons and daughter-in-law. If their biological son and Lu Zhang disagree on the same matter, Ye Zhenjun and she may not necessarily favor their biological son. Tang Xian, who abandoned her son and grandson when Ye Zhenjun was in trouble and added insult to injury. Grandma Ye was so satisfied with Tang Xian when her son got married, but now she is so disgusted, down to her bones. If Tang Xian honestly never showed up or disturbed Ye Yan, Grandma Ye might never think of her and have no intention of taking revenge. After all, in that era, there were countless teachers and students, fathers and sons, and couples who turned against each other. Tang Xian's actions can be regarded as human nature, but she can only share wealth, but not share hardships. However, she happened to show up and stop Ye Yan in front of everyone. She wanted to recognize her son. She was simply seeking death. Tang Xian felt a little weak when she saw Grandma Ye, but her desire to recognize her son took over. Her heart moved, her attitude changed from strong to weak, tears came at every turn, and she said sadly, "Mom, these years, I have been very fond of Ye Yan. I think about it in the morning and at night. I think about the son all the time at night. Mom, you are also a mother, can you let me and Ye Yan get to know each other?" Grandma Ye said categorically, "No. Also, I'm not your mother, so don't call me Mom." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1928. Grandma Ye felt disgusted when she heard Tang Xian's name and manner of speaking. Tang Xian was unhappy to see her being so disrespectful to her, but there was nothing she could do no matter how unhappy she was. She had to please the Ye family, which was now at its peak, otherwise she and her daughter would be trampled on by others. After Tang Xian married Li Chaoying, because Li Chaoying became more powerful, she lived a life of influence for several years. Unexpectedly, the good times did not last long. An old general who was defeated by Li Chaoying was suddenly reinstated. When people around him saw this, in order to please that man, the old generals attacked them one after another. After the group of 4 was crushed, Li Chaoying was also caught and sentenced to death with a 2-year suspended sentence. When Tang Xian encountered the situation for the second time, she felt like crying. Her life in the art troupe was getting more and more difficult. Suddenly she heard that Ye Zhenjun's old boss had become the country's 2nd and 3rd leader. Ye Zhenjun and Ye Xiangqian had a bright future, so she became interested. At first, Ye Xiangqian and her became revolutionary partners after they fell in love with each other, and they lived a tender and affectionate life for several years. After the divorce, Ye Xiangqian would rather foster his son in someone else's home than marry another woman to take care of the child and family. This shows the depth of his feelings for him. If he remarries, he will definitely agree. As for marriage to Li Chaoying, Tang Xian broke up with Li Chaoying long ago when he was liquidated. It was her fault that Li Chaoying was arrested and sentenced so quickly, because she and Li Chaoying had been husband and wife for many years and knew most of the things Li Chaoying had done. She reported them accurately, made meritorious deeds, and saved her job in the art troupe. Tang Xian, who is single now, wholeheartedly believes that Yes Yang Qian is still in love with her because he is not married. She wants to find Ye Qian after capturing Ye Yan. Who knows that Ye Yan is so ruthless and unjust, not only denying himself, but also another woman became a mother, and her former mother-in-law stepped in again and refused to recognize her as her daughter-in-law. Tang Xian's lungs almost exploded with anger. No matter how dissatisfied she was with Grandma Ye, Tang Xian didn't dare to show it on her face and said aggrievedly, "Mom, how could you say that? Tang Xian, please remember what I said. You have nothing to do with our family, and I am not your mother. Please don't let me repeat it a third time." Grandma Ye's voice was stern. She didn't know that Tang Xian was self-centered, she just wanted the woman in front of her who abandoned her husband and son to stay far away from her grandson. It would be best to be separated by thousands of miles and not see each other for the rest of her life. You can just admit it to Mom. What kind of look is that? Even Mom can admit her mistake. No, no, Lu Erxian interrupted, and then he said, "Grandma Ye, do you want me to ask the security guard to beat her out?" Tang Xian looked serious and said, "How dare you?" Lu Erxian said nonchalantly, "What dare I not do? Hey! You came here to disturb my buddy, and you didn't ask in advance about my reputation as Lu Erxian, who punched a Nanshan tiger and stepped on Zhenbilong." Grandma Ye was almost amused by him. She forced a serious face, pointed in the direction of the door, and said coldly to Tang Xian, "If you don't leave, I will call someone. I should ask the guard. You are not from here, you are a soldier, and you are not a member of the military family here. Why should you step into the family area of senior cotters? I don't believe who let you in. I don't believe it. The heavily guarded Zishan compound actually let people from outside. What about the spies? Who will take responsibility? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1929. Tang Xian suddenly changed her color when she heard about the 4 special agents. Although the days of chaos and chaos are over, no one dares to bear such a crime. I was sent by the cultural troupe to the capital military region to perform condolences. Of course I can come here. Tang Xian said this with a weak breath, because she understood the difference between the area for the families of senior cotters and the area for the families of ordinary soldiers. The former was heavily guarded and had no access. It needs to be subject to strict interrogation, and the latter is appropriately relaxed. Grandma Ye didn't believe what she said. She lowered her lips and sneered slightly, "You're lying to me. When did an art soldier from another military region get to enter and leave the family area of senior cotters at will? We must check carefully, otherwise who can rest assured, all the people living here are cotters above the military level." Since a military region political commissar was assassinated 6 or 7 years ago, the country has become increasingly strict in this area. Yes, investigate carefully. I think they must be enemy agents. Let's catch the enemy agents together. Lu Erxian nodded, his eyes full of light, looking eager to try. He likes to catch enemies the most, he. Seeing that Grandma Ye and Feng Qingxiu were serious, Lu Erxian started to mess around with each other, even attracting the attention of others. Tang Xian shouted anxiously, "It's Sumaixiang, it was Sumaixiang who brought me here. She knows that I missed my son and couldn't bear it, so I brought me in the name of a friend. You can't accuse people unjustly. Feng Qingxiu frowned slightly. Sumai Xiang? An extremely selfish woman, she was so kind to help Tang Xian? It seemed like he was here to cause trouble for himself. After all, Ye Yan had been living in his own home. Tang Xian didn't know what Feng Qingxiu was thinking, so she put on a pleading look and looked very pitiful. She choked and said, "I just miss my son. I think about you all day and night. You are all lesbians and mothers, why can't you be considerate of me? Ye Yan, I am really your mother. I left you for my own reasons. Don't listen to people's nonsense. If you want to remarry Yes Yangqian, you must get Ye Yan's support. With his support, the original 6-point certainty can be increased to 9 points, and the remaining 1 point depends on the opinions of Ye Zhenjun and Guo Kui. Don't talk nonsense here. No one will be deceived by you. You and Shenfeng's mother are the same," Ye Yan suddenly said. Tang Xian's appearance touched his childhood memories. "I remember that I went to find you, but you avoided seeing me at first, and then you came out when you couldn't hide anymore. You yelled at me. You said that you don't have a son like me. You said that I should die to clean up what Grandpa brought. My sin. Every word and every sentence, I remember clearly now. As you wish, you don't have me as a son, and I don't have you as a mother." Grandma Ye was heartbroken when she heard her grandson's words. Yes, Yangqian never said that she never knew that her grandson had gone to see Tang Xian after her son's divorce. Thinking of the little person being so wantonly insulted by his former mother, Grandma Ye wanted to eat Tang Xian alive. Get out, Grandma Ye was furious and pushed Tang Xian hard, her eyes almost bursting with flames. "I'm warning you, Tang Xian, if you appear in front of Yan Yan again, I will definitely let you. Ye pretended to be a public servant and made you regret it. Li Chaoying has been sentenced. You have been jumping up and down with him for so many years, and I don't believe that you are not dirty." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1930. Even though Grandma Ye is old, she still has a strong body and can walk quickly despite the hail of bullets. On the contrary, Tang Xian has only known how to work and not do housework or farm work in these years. She was unable to do anything and was pushed to sit on the ground. Even on lawn, it hurts the butt and hurts the dignity. Feng Qingxiu crossed her arms with her hands on her chest, with a sneer on her lips, looking like a bully villain. "Uncle Ye is old, so I'd better ask my old Lu to investigate. I'm sure to find out all these people with ulterior motives. Although it's true that he was raised free range, but I managed to raise a rebellious little boy into a handsome young man. Someone comes to pick peaches, which is like eating the heart of a bear and the courage of a leopard." Lu Erxian burst out laughing. "Brother Ye, you are a peach, a big peach." Ye Yan spoke plausibly. "Mom is a metaphor. Do you understand the metaphor?" Hearing Ye Yan call Feng Qingxiu's mother, Grandma Ye's eyes flashed with surprise, and then she understood and felt happy, because the Lu family took care of Ye Yan just like raising a son. There is nothing better than this. Waiting for Lao Ye when he comes back, he will officially let Ye Yan recognize Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu as his godfather and godmother, so that no one will make irresponsible remarks. Er Xiang, if you are quick, go and call one of the patrolling guards. Just tell him that this person suddenly appeared in front of our family, talking nonsense and causing us great trouble. The guard will naturally follow the instructions. Prescribed processing. After listening to Grandma Ye's words, Lu Erxian suddenly ran away without a trace before he said hello. Tang Xian got up from the ground in disbelief. "How could you do this? I'm just a poor mother who misses her son and comes to see her son. You are so cruel to prevent our mother and son from being reunited." Grandma Ye ignored her at all and was too lazy to do anything. Besides pretending to be pitiful and repeating a few words, what else could Tang Xian say? There are security guards patrolling the villa area of senior generals every day. Within 2 minutes, Lu Erxian found 2 security guards and saluted Grandma Ya and Feng Qingxiu respectively. The 2 comrades are frightened. Let's take her away right away, go down and find out. Check it carefully, Grandma Ya warned, she has a grudge against my family. Earlier, Ye was in trouble, and my son Yes Yangqian was also suspended for investigation. Now Tang Xian divorced my son and doesn't want any children. Married another Li Chaoying, who was very active in the revolution at that time. That Li Chaoying was the adopted son of old comrade Zhou Fengxue. He almost tortured old comrade Zhou Fengxue to death. Now he has been sentenced to death. Please check the process of Tang Xian's appearance here. Purpose, I don't believe she has no purpose, it must be the weasel's intention to pay Rooster a New Year greeting. Don't forget to tell us after you find out, so we can take precautions. When they heard that Tang Xian had abandoned her husband and her son, and that her husband had repaid kindness and persecuted General Zhou Fengxue, who was a big counter-revolutionary, the 2 guards took Tang Xian into custody without hesitation, let alone ignore Tang Xian's yelling. In the assassinations of high-ranking generals in the 1970s and 1980s, wasn't it because the murderer was under investigation for his composition and wanted to gain support? Feng Qingxiu learned for the first time that Tang Xian's husband was Zhou Fengxue's adopted son, and asked Grandma Ya in surprise. When I asked people to investigate him, I only knew that he persecuted Zhongliang, including Uncle Zhou. I didn't know that he was Uncle Zhou's adopted son. Asking Ye Yan to push the bicycle, Grandma Ye pulled Feng Qingxiu towards home and sighed, not many people know about this matter. It's normal that the person you are looking for is not found. Lao Zhou is heartbroken. I definitely don't want to talk about the past.